Hi everyone, and today here on IndySportsCrew.com, as part of our college football season preview, we're taking a look at the Indiana Hoosiers. The Hoosiers had a tough year last year under first-year head coach Kevin Wilson, who's entering his second season now. But last season, 1-11, the only school that we mentioned earlier that in the FBS division that did not get a win against another FBS team. The only win came against South Carolina State. So this year, Coach Wilson comes in. A little bit of pressure, already a little bit of heat on Coach Wilson right now, but what he has done so far, and he started that last year, everyone saw, even into the spring, he got rid of a lot of guys that he didn't think were fully committed to what he wants the IU football program to be. And so with those guys out, he's not quite there yet, and he would say that to you if you asked him, but he's getting his guys, quote-unquote, his guys into the program that he wants to see there and compete in the way and the manner that he wants them to compete. So already this is a pretty big year for Coach Wilson because everyone wants to see some strides to be made as far as getting the program into a winning tradition, which hasn't been the case in a long, long time at IU. We're going to look now at the schedule for IU, and the schedule, the non-conference schedule is not overwhelming at all. You have Indiana State, you have Ball State, you have UMass, and you have Navy on the schedule. Nothing that jumps out at you as such a huge game, but there's going to be some very competitive games in there. Ball State beat IU last year. Navy is always competitive. They run that triple option attack. Indiana State's a very good FCS team. They're a preseason 23rd in the FCS division. So there's some teams there that you have to really watch out for and hope that you can get through those games. Now in the Big Ten, when you're a team in the Big Ten and you're a team like Indiana who has struggled, you don't want to go crazy in your non-conference and schedule a bunch of big-name teams. So what IU has done, a little bit lighter, I guess you would say, on the non-conference, but, when you get to the Big Ten conference schedule, you have Michigan State, you have Ohio State on the roster, on the schedule, you have Wisconsin, but they do get a little bit lucky, I guess you would say. They miss out on Michigan, and they miss out on Nebraska this year. They do play Penn State, but Penn State's going to be down, and then obviously the season ender against Purdue, but they do have some games in there. Purdue, Iowa, Northwestern, maybe teams that aren't in that upper tier of Big Ten teams that you hope that IU is advancing to compete with. So as far as the prediction goes, it's still going to be a down year, I believe, for IU, but much improved from where they were last year. I think Trey Roberson will be there at quarterback and have a much improved season. I really think the defense is the key. As I stated before, I think Jakari Alexander, David Cooper, Replogle, and Black on the defensive line have to really step it up, and they just gave up too many points last year. Even in several games last year, Roberson, as a freshman, led the team to 25, 30, 35 points in games, and they would lose because they were giving up way too many points late in the season in those conference games. My prediction for the Hoosiers is that they get 4 wins this season. Obviously, that's not great, but I think they'll be competitive in the Big Ten, maybe squeak a game out at home, Iowa or Purdue, maybe, even though that's on the road this year, something like that. But I got them at 4 wins, possibly 5 if they can sweep through the 4 non-conference games, which they have the chance to do. 2 of those are on the road, though, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to stick with 4 wins for the Hoosiers this year in 2012, as Coach Wilson hopes that next season will be the key year, his 3rd year, where he can get the Hoosiers finally back to a bowl game. Make sure you check us out the rest of this week. We're going to have Notre Dame and we're going to have Purdue talk on here. So we're going to be getting you your Indiana college football fix.